welcome back to the Delaware Boys Dynasty Football Podcast. Ryan, say what's up to the people, baby.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Glad to be here as usual. We had a great showing last pod. Appreciate you guys coming out last time. Hope to see a lot of you guys here again tonight. But tonight doing something a little different. Last time we did start sits. Tonight we're doing buy low, sell high, which is I think really important throughout as the season goes. Capitalize on some of these guys that are blowing up early in the season and might kind of tend to fade towards the end, or vice versa. Buy guys that are like kind of going down. You think that might be good for you in fantasy playoffs later on. Huge in-season trades are massive if you can pull them off.
Well, be patient with me, everybody. Just so you know, I sound like shit, but I'm here. I am here. I didn't know COVID-19 was a thing in 2023, but here we are. You know what I mean? It's very unfortunate, but here we are. We gotta get back to our roots. Dynasty football is where we started. It's our love. It's our passion. Buy low, sell high. A lot of you redraft guys, I know you play in dynasty leagues. Whatever the format is, IDP, single QB, super flex, 2 QBs, mandatory. There's always players that you need evaluated. There's always players you have questions about. Let's do it.
Right.
Buy low, sell high. Let's do it. Ryan, I'll let you kick it off too.
So first of all, I just want to preface this. Like last time we spoke mainly on exclusively on redraft. This podcast, I cannot emphasize this enough, is all dynasty. So if you hear us say some off the wall shit, it's probably because you might be hopping in late thinking we're talking about redraft. We're gonna try to reiterate through the show that this is strictly just dynasty talk. But I mean, for me, like the biggest thing, I'm gonna start with a buy low. Probably the biggest buy low for me of the season, especially coming in with the hype before the rookie drafts, all this stuff. I'm gonna start with Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is off to a slow start. I get it; it's a little concerning, but you really dive into the numbers here. He's being used in the slot. He's got the 13th highest slot rate. Seahawks don't normally use the slot like they should. So he's getting hit. He's getting beat up there, admittedly so. But you look into the advanced stats, dude's 5th in target separation with like just over 2.5 yards per route run. That's phenomenal. He's in the high 6s for average cushion on routes, which is top 15. I mean, he has the elite talent. It's just play the patience game, especially in Dynasty. All it's going to take is Lockett exiting, or I don't ever want to wish injury upon players, but DK or Lockett goes down, you're going to see JSN get elevated into one of those roles, and you're really going to see him start going. I'm still a big believer in him, and I think if you can buy him low now, I mean, you think about it, what he was going for pre-draft process, it's significantly lower now than it ever was.
Yeah, I mean, you have to lower your expectations too when you go to a team who's already had 2 established wide receivers in DK and Tyler Lockett, and on top of that, you have a run-heavy offensive scheme to begin with.
Right.
Whether you had it as wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, some people had Addison, some people had JSN. Doesn't matter. Both are elite talents. One landed in a better situation. We've talked about that numerous times. No ill will towards Jackson. We all know what Brian Hartline and what they do at Ohio State, what they produce. They produce monsters. I mean, you can just look at the track record of Ohio State receivers. And this dude, he's talked about as one of the best for a reason. His summer price in Dynasty startups was relatively high, a little too high for my liking. But right now, yeah. I mean, dude was talked about as like wide receiver 12. Like we're pegging him as wide receiver 12. Like that's, and DK was for me wide receiver 11. So just put that 2 and 2 together. You're talking about a guy who has multiple wide receiver 1 finishes and a guy who's never stepped on the field. He's not Marvin Harrison Jr., so let's just get that straight. But he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I do believe that Jackson Smith and Jigba is a huge buy. And like I said, we use so many different various sites. Let's go with Keep Trade Cut. Keep Trade Cut has him at wide receiver 17. Yes.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. They had him as high as wide receiver 8.
Well,
We did not.
trade
We
cuts
didn't have
is
him
a
that high.
terrible application for
Right.
values,
I'm just
but nonetheless, yeah, I see your point. He's
right.
fell what was that 9 spots?
9, 10, depending.
Yeah.
I mean, he keeps having bad weeks. His snap percentages have dropped. He played almost 60% of the snaps week 1. Now he's down to 53. He played 44 in week 3. They're on bye. So I mean, like there has to be a shining light for Jackson sometime. When that'll be, I don't know, but I do believe in the talent. I truly do. You were the Jackson. Your flag was planted here, so
It's
this
still
is your guy.
planted. It's still planted. I mean, it's tough even when, I'm a huge draft day guy. So even watching them go to the Seahawks on draft day, I was like kind of like, oh shit. Like not the most ideal landing spot, but I
Right.
think he'll find his footing. He's an elite receiver to me. And I think he can end up we were talking like this wide receiver 17 price. He can end up being higher than that in Dynasty, but even by the end of the season, depending on how things go. I also don't think Geno's exactly the greatest quarterback to produce 3 wide receiver numbers. Maybe if we got Geno from last year, but this year he's kind of a little bit came back down to earth. I'm not too worried about him.
I mean, you got to remember too, man. Like this is an offense that wants to run the ball. They want to establish the run. That's what Pete Carroll was known for. Pete Carroll done it all the way back to his USC days. So, just just take it for what it is. Just keep beating the drum, man. I mean, eventually somebody's gonna, somebody's gonna, they're gonna get on the drum with you, and you're gonna look like a genius here.
Yeah.
I mean, the long-term game, remember, Tyler Lockett's only locked in for 1 more year. That's it.
Right.
And granted, he has aged very gracefully into his 30s. He's produced consistent wide receiver 2 numbers. He's even now produced DK in multiple years that they've played together.
Right.
But eventually, the clock's going to strike. You know what I mean? It's going to be DK, and it's going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
So,
patience, people. Patience.
Yes, patience. Also, I'm going to get into one of mine. He's burning me in Scott Fish. Absolutely.
Oh, there you go.
But I remember going into the year last year, we were talking about him, easy top tier running back, head and shoulders above everybody else. Now he's getting priced around the same price as Devon Achane. To be honest with you, that's not fair.
No.
I'm being honest with you.
No.
My buy, Jonathan Taylor. Let's talk about it. Go back to Wisconsin. Look at it. Top 3 all time Wisconsin rushing yards.
Right.
Broken tackles.
Elite college for running backs to begin with.
Elite profile, draft profile is off the charts. 4.3 speed. Everything you want, everything the analytics guys want, including the tape, the speed, the agility, the body size, the weight, everything you want is what he had.
Yeah.
Then we go for over 2,000 scrimmage, 20 touchdowns in 2021. And Ryan didn't believe in 2020 when his rookie year came out. But the second half of that season, running back 1 from week 10 on. He was a monster. I remember it was specifically the Ravens game when he fumbled twice, and you were like, yo, is this dude gonna ever take off?
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I told you, no off season. Remember with COVID, no off season, no prep time, none of that. And here we are. Jonathan Taylor is now being priced at the same price as Devon Achane. And I'm sorry, but that's not fair. That's not fair at all.
It's absolutely not. And I think a lot of people are kind of panicked on the situation with the Colts, whether he's going to play there again or he's going to end up with another team. Like, I get it. Like, the concern is there for sure. But I think he's a great buy. You can buy him now in this cloudy area before he gets back on the field and that price goes back up. People forgot who he was. I mean, he fell off a little bit last year, but that offense last year was not really that functional in the first place. Now he's got AR, and they can kind of push the run more often. I mean, you see Zach Moss being successful as a running back in that offense, and he's not even near the level that Jonathan Taylor is if he plays for the Colts. It's gonna be pretty fun to watch once once he gets back on the field.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't even need him to play a single snap. I don't need to see a single snap in a Colts jersey ever again. Just know how elite of a talent Jonathan Taylor is.
Yeah.
And we're only talking about 2 years of usage. Now, granted, his Wisconsin tape, he's got a lot of touches. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That was Ryan's big red flag coming into it when it came to him, was his amount of touches in college. But I'm sorry to tell you, that's every running back, that plays in a Big Ten system. Huge usage numbers. But don't shy away from Jonathan Taylor because of that. Kid's a stud. He's still on his first rookie contract. Go buy him. Devon A-Chain prices, that's not fair to Jonathan Taylor at all. It's not fair. Ryan,
I'm pretty positive I would trade A-Chain for Jonathan Taylor in a heartbeat.
Yeah, not even a question. I mean, if you're looking at this list, though, I mean, like, key trade cut, like I said, is pretty ridiculous, but this is a huge general consensus of how the fans feel. Obviously, it's a lot of recency bias. You haven't seen Jonathan Taylor since last year, but
yeah,
that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
God forbid he ends up with the Dolphins. I'm just saying.
God forbid.
God forbid he ends up with the Dolphins. Good Lord have mercy. That's going to be a freak show.
God. But I'm going to go ahead, man. Who's next on your buy low or your buy sells?
So for me, like, quarterback's a little bit funny. Their prices don't really change that often. But I'm still going to throw the name out there. Joe Burrow, one of the biggest names in Dynasty. I get it. Like, he's still going to cost you a pretty penny. But right now, I mean, he's playing abysmally bad. If you can find a manager that's panicking, I mean, we're talking like he's got a lower QBR than Josh Dobbs and guys like Baker Mayfield. These guys that, like, don't really see the field. He has the least amount of passing touchdowns out of any eligible quarterback in the entire NFL.
Bro, you know whose QBR he has? He's lower than too. He's got a lower QBR than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can find somebody that's panicking, this might be the lowest you could buy Joe Burrow maybe ever in his career.
Yeah.
Now it might be a little bit hard to find that guy, but here's the thing: it's possible. Okay, especially a contender that's trying to win this year and doesn't have time to deal with this lingering calf injury. If you could trade him, like, any successful quarterback that's going great this year, like, even like just like a package like Matt Stafford or like any of these quarterbacks that are being successful this year that won't be in the future, package it together with a pick or something like that. Go get Burrow while you can. I think now is a good opportunity to buy Joe Burrow. I don't think he's going to get any cheaper than what he's at now.
All right, please remember, you're not going to be able to trade Matt Stafford.
I mean, in a package. I'm saying, like, they're going to want a quarterback back in the deal.
So realistically, I'm looking at it as like a QB swap. I still have Joe Burrow inside my top 4 dynasty guys, or top 5. You know what I mean? We've all had that conversation. Is it time to move Herbert back? You know what I mean? The top 3 are solidified. But let's just say this. Let's look at recent success. Would you trade Joe Burrow for Stroud and a pick and a significant cap pick? You know what I mean? Like, that's a possibility because CJ Stroud's on pace for over 5,000 passing yards in his rookie year. He's, he has over 250 pass attempts with not a single turnover. Huge. He's playing huge. He's playing great football.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trading Joe Burrow for CJ Stroud. No, I'm not. But I'm just saying, these are the conversations you can have. Anthony Richardson, who's averaging over 22 fantasy points a game, are you going to trade him for Joe Burrow? I don't know. I mean,
I don't think it's a little bit. a little
Yeah.
bit dicier.
Do you
But
think he has the Jalen Hurts type ceiling? Is that what he is? Um, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of questions here. But you're also looking at a guy with Joe Burrow with back-to-back top 7 finishes last year,
yeah,
QB4. I mean, this is the dude that just, I mean, he just had 36 touchdown passes, 5 rushing touchdowns, very, very, very sneaky 5 rushing touchdowns. Remember that as well. He plays in one of the most explosive offenses in football.
yeah,
Do not panic sell Joe Burrow. But if you can buy Joe Burrow,
yeah,
find that guy.
yeah. Don't panic, though. But if you can find someone that's willing to deal him, proceed accordingly. And like you said, like watching him play right now, the calf is certainly the issue. You watch the film right now; he is a strictly a one read quarterback,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it's not pretty for him. It doesn't work out in his favor. It's kind of like drop back, take care of your leg, get the ball out as fast as possible,
Yeah.
and
The also
it's not gonna be like this all season.
also too, like it just seems like the elusiveness is not there. The ability to move and extend plays is not
Yeah,
there. Obviously, the calf is a big issue. So, hey, if you find anybody to sell Joe Burrow, go buy Joe Burrow. That's all I can say. It's
yeah.
Joe Burrow.
I mean, not like your traditional like buy low guy, but I'm just saying like it doesn't get any cheaper for Joe Burrow than right now.
No, it doesn't. It
Yeah.
really, truly doesn't. Um, Also, too, I want to speak of a QB. I think he's a huge buy. He's being vastly. It's bad. Like he's vastly underrated at this point. Can we talk about Kyler Murray?
Yeah. Yeah, we can,
Can
baby.
we can we talk about Kyler? I mean, granted, guys, like, listen, I've heard the same. I've heard the stories. Listen, I get it. Call of Duty drops. He's terrible. Listen, I get it. We all know Kyler Murray. You know what I mean? Whatever you think about him as a real life QB, let's talk about the NFL fantasy football success. Rookie year, top 6 finish. Year 2, top 3.
Yeah.
Year 3, top 10. Last year, tears an ACL, still top 20 QB.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is an elite fantasy option.
Yeah.
If anybody's telling you different, they're telling you wrong. Kyler
Absolutely.
Murray is a problem on the football field.
He
I don't
is.
care if Hopkins is there or not. He's a problem.
Yeah, he's a big issue. I've been kind of toting him around as maybe like on my own island for buying Kyler Murray. I've been saying it for a while now. I don't think it changes, especially now that they seem like they're gonna get him back in the system. They're not really like, oh, let's get rid of Kyler anymore.
Yeah.
Those stories have definitely faded. He's had injuries. You know, he missed 5 games in 2021, missed 6 in 20. I mean, the ACL touch sucks. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
on a per game basis, when he's actually on the field, he's never been below QB7 in fantasy football. That's consistently the consistency that's unmatched.
Let's talk. Oh, Ryan, good question. Brett, also looking forward to your show tonight, man. So excited to see you and Coach Bruce go at it tonight. It's a great show,
Brett,
by the way. What are you giving up in a pick in a 1 QB league for Kyler specifically? Can I ask you what your QB situation looks like prior to me answering this question?
what are you giving up in a pick?
Like picks wise, what are you giving up? So that's the question.
Oh, so like,
I would love to know what your QB situation looks like before I answer this question. Because like 1 QB leagues are so drastically different. Like,
yeah,
riding,
we pretty
riding,
much strictly speak on a super flex basis. So
riding with Jordan Love. Okay, so he's riding with Jordan Love. I'll be honest with you. Kyler Murray is price tagged him at like QB 14. If somebody was willing to sell him for like, I like to, if for this, like I would extend it out. Like if somebody said, hey, you can have Kyler for like a 2025 first round pick, I would definitely take it. I have 2 1s and a second next year. All my picks in 25. Yeah, first off, I would offer the 2025 first with him still being on the IR, them talking about not bringing him back. um, strictly coming off the pup when he was supposed to. I think it's a great initial offer, 2025 first, and then you start there and you build on the conversation. If you're willing to let go of Jordan Love and then kind of stream your backup QB, you could do Love in a second and a 24 second, and then build, and then try to build your QB room. That's what I would do. Um, I'm gonna take Kyler 10 out of 10 when he comes back on the field.
Yeah. Especially, one QB, Jordan Love being QB1, not really like the most ideal situation.
Yeah, and I like Jordan Love, so let's not throw any hate towards Jordan Love.
No
He's
hate, it's just
yeah.
for me, Kyler.
Yeah, but people fail to realize Kyler Murray, and I know he's not going to rush when he gets back initially, but when he's able to take off again, his rushing ability. People are talking about Anthony Richardson. Look at how poised Kyler is as a passer. Kyler is a great passer, whether it's on the move or from the pocket. He's clean. It's clean. I don't care if he's 5'10", 5'11", whatever the hell he is. Dude can throw the football.
Yeah.
Love it. We got another question in here too. Trying to dish T. Higgins for number 2 running back. Who should I pursue? My buy low, T. Higgins as well. Buy
I was
low, T.
going to
Higgins.
say, we're just getting ready to get into
Let's
him.
do this. Yeah, let's do this. Let's bring this up, man. This is a good conversation. So we all know that T. Higgins obviously is hurt right now with a rib problem.
Yeah.
We all know that he's had trouble with the drops. We all know the Bengals offense doesn't look to par. Okay. Ryan, what are you thinking here?
So for me, like maybe I have a question for me, Stu. I mean, I'm typically the receiver guy, so I'm not really willing to dish out Higgins for RB2. Especially because like the position's so murky right now, especially at the RB2 spot. Like realistically, like who we looking at for T Higgins? Like we looking at like DeAndre Swift, or is he too?
I don't
Is
think
he
I'm willing to
priced
go.
too high for?
I don't
for
think I'm willing
Higgins?
to go that low. I
Right,
think
that's
if
what I'm
I'm
saying. It's like
I,
it's kind of a weird spot for
yeah,
Higgins.
the thing is like I know who I want. I know who I want to acquire, and the name that initially comes to my head is Travis Etienne. That's the name that
Right.
initially comes to my head.
Honestly, first thing came to mind, like Ken Walker, Travis Etienne, like type
Yeah, and I
range.
mean
Yeah.
because the thing is like honestly, me and you both had T. Higgins inside our top 12, top 13 dynasty wide receivers. He's probably being faded down to like 15, 16.
Right.
But wide receivers long term value drastically outperform the running back anyway. Yeah. So like if I have to do a package deal, even like a slight package, Travis Etienne is the name that I initially go to.
Yeah.
Because
I'm okay with that. But I mean, T. Higgins, if you really need that RB2, go get him. But I think T. Higgins is stuck in Cincinnati right now. But I could see him easily exiting that offense and going with a new team next year.
this comment right here makes a huge
Situation. So
thing.
I've got Josh Jacobs and going after that. So okay.
Yeah. So
So
I
that
understand.
changes things.
Obviously,
Okay.
obviously I understand this just due to the fact that Jacobs has underperformed. Granted, last week, great game. Huge involvement in the receiving game. I can take that. Zach Moss, a flyer, obviously. We don't know what's up with Taylor. Not a bad insurance hold, but I get it. I do understand. And the thing is like you have to what we're gonna have to break it down to is this. He hasn't played well. Obviously, Higgins with the drops and things like that. But ETN, he got a lot of hate in the dynasty community early. And now he's kind of put it to bed. He's probably a more favorable player, but if I had to, it's going to be that's the name I initially go to is ETN.
Yeah, I like the ETN Walker range of guys out there. I was even going to say Josh Jacobs, ironically, but he's already on your roster, so that doesn't really help.
It is. Honestly, too, man, like he's hurt too. You might be able to do a straight Higgins for Barkley swap.
Probably.
It's pretty close, to be honest. Those are the names that come to my head. Like, you know what I mean? And honestly, too,
I would say just start the conversation with the owner of any of these running backs. Kind of see where he's at. Maybe find a Bengals fan.
ETN, Barkley. I don't think Ken hits that. I don't think Ken they'll do it. But ETN, Barkley,
You think Ken's too low? Or you think he's too expensive?
I think Ken's too expensive. I wouldn't trade Ken for Higgins, but that's just me. Um, so that yeah, but that's where I would start, and then I would avoid names like Eckler. You know, like that older running Eckler. Obviously, you don't want Henry, guys like that. Uh, but yeah, we're in that range there. So
Yeah.
that's a good question. Mike has a question for me too. What are we doing with Najee? I think Najee. Honestly, I think Najee is in like his own tier. I think he's a. I think he's a hold or a sell low. I think
I
he's a
think.
sell low.
I mean, selling low is so hard. I think it's just a hold. I mean,
I have him hold sell low. That's what I have him
yeah,
at.
I don't. It's just. Well, I mean, what are you selling him for? No one's going to want to pay for Najee right now. I mean, he looks awful. You're not going to anything near the return value that
Bro,
you're initially paid in
if
for
you give
Najee
me a
Harris.
2024 mid second round pick, I'm taking it.
That's where we're at with Najee, huh?
That's where I'm at. I
That's
literally just did it like an hour ago, and
that's
I had no ill will towards it.
crazy. I mean, you're talking about a guy who even last year was going in the back end of dynasty startups in the first round.
Right.
Um,
And listen, man, it's nothing to do with the fact that he hasn't improved from a peripheral standpoint. He's averaging over 4 yards per carry, which he's never done in his career. But this offense is so bad. It's so bad.
yeah,
We have crossed the 50 one time. One time in 4 games. You want
yikes.
to talk to me about how bad it is? And remember too, man, I never expected Najee to get 94 targets like he did with Ben. I never expected that.
Yeah,
But last year, 50 targets. Now in 4 games, we're at 8. We're at 2 targets a game. We're literally approaching like J.K. Dobbins with Lamar Jackson type. You
yeah,
know, that's
like
where we're
Derrick
at.
Henry, Nick Chubb type
Right.
guys.
No,
Yeah,
nothing. The receiving profile stood out. And it's not because he's not going to, he's just not on the field on third downs. Jalen Warren has played that well. He's earned that role. He's
yeah,
stepped in. He's blocking well. He's making, he's making, he's making great decisions in blitz pickups. Excuse me. Sorry. And he's earned that role. And he's yet to score a touchdown. Najee is yet to score. This offense doesn't score. So when
yeah,
you don't score, your playmakers aren't in the ability to score, what are you going to do?
yeah. Well, the crazy thing is about that you guys not crossing the 50, but one time you guys are 2-2.
Yeah. Thank our
How
defense, bro.
how is that? Whatever. Anyway, yeah, no. I mean, I'm definitely
No,
panicking on
we
Najee,
played the
but
Texans. We crossed the 50 one time. One
yeah,
time in the Houston game.
that's wild.
One time. How is that a thing? How can you win a football game?
That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, so
The
chalk
O
up.
line, O line's terrible. Najee Harris is in a absolutely
But the thing is people still like it's Matt Canada,
terrible
bro.
situation.
It's
Yeah.
Matt Canada. It is what it is. I can sit here and beat this drum to you every second of the day.
Would you
If you
say
get a
that
second round, if you get a 2024 second for Najee Harris, sell him. Let him go. It's not worth it. I'm telling you, there's something there that's making Mike Tomlin hold on to Matt Canada. I don't know why. I don't. And as long as Matt Canada is our offensive coordinator, we're a bottom tier offense. We're the 29th ranked offense in the NFL.
rough? Would you
So
say that Matt Canada runs a Canada dry offense?
you're a funny guy. You're a very funny guy. Whew. We got to start sit. I know it's not that, but let's answer it. Aaron Jones, Swift, A-Chain, and Puka. Sit one. Wow.
God
Jeez.
bless America.
Honestly, I think this is pretty easy for me.
You say at the same time?
Me, it's Aaron Jones.
Ah, shit. Yeah, I
It's
mean, it's
Aaron
Aaron
Jones.
Jones for me, too.
It's Aaron Jones.
Last week was the last week I'm questioning A-Chain. He's on limited touches. He had 8 touches. He still ran the ball for 100 yards.
I know. And the crazy part is when we talked about the game, I looked like such an idiot because Tua had 145 passing yards in the first quarter, yet A-Chain had 2 rushing scores. I was pissed.
Yeah, yeah. So, I
Now,
mean,
granted,
limited touches.
they did lose by 20.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So,
I'm gonna sit Aaron Jones' situation.
yep, I'm
Thanks
sitting
for
Aaron
sending
Jones.
the question in.
Yep, Aaron Jones for sure. Sit
And
for
I
me.
think Swift has earned that role with the Eagles, and then Puka's obviously. I
Yeah,
mean, Puka's also been an
As long as Cooper Cup's not playing, his 21-day practice window just opened today.
Yep.
As long as he's not playing, it's Puka, Swift, and I'm not doubting anything from A Chain. Also, we have a question about Justin Fields.
Let's get this Fields question out of the way, and let's get back to these.
No.
Oh, highs.
Fields is the question. Is it a
Oh.
buy low, sell high?
I mean, how can you really sell him low when, like, I mean, yeah, he's playing abysmal in actual football. But you look at the fantasy standpoints, he's still getting 20-point games week in, week out. So it's tough to say that. Now, would I actively go out seeking buying him? Probably not. But he's in that weird territory for me. I mean, what do you think? I mean, he's definitely efficient in fantasy, but the question comes down to, does he find his rhythm in actual football and able to produce multiple years to
I'm
go?
gonna be honest with you, man. Matt Eberflus is is pretty close to like borderline like JV type guy. That's where I'm at with it. But to be honest with you, it's not all on Fields, man. It's really not. And believe it or not, like I mean, we talked about the Fields and DJ Moore stack, and I mean, it looks actually relatively decent.
Looks good. Yeah.
He's producing DJ Moore at wide receiver 14. Obviously, we know the 99-yard passing game against Kansas City. He's under the century mark. It's huge. The turnovers are a problem. They're not winning games.
Yeah. Oh, and four.
The main question you have to ask yourself: is Justin Fields going to show you enough to earn a contract?
Right. And that's what I was just getting at towards the end of my little speech is like, is he
And,
going to earn that contract, or is he going to kind of like hover around and like,
and to be
because
honest with
look,
you, man,
here's the crazy part
you,
for me. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. The crazy part for me is like Lamar Jackson, MVP, Lamar Jackson, one of the better quarterback seasons I've ever seen in my life. He struggled to get his contract. So when it comes time for Justin Fields, I think he might be really, really fighting to get that contract unless he shows some like really big steps going forward.
Now I'm going to say this, man. Lamar Jackson's problem was he was his own agent. That's his fault.
I mean,
Let's
how
talk
much does
about
that
your.
really have to do with it, though?
Let's talk about Daniel Jones earning a contract. Brian Daboll came in. They win. They go to a playoff, and they beat the Minnesota Vikings. It earned Daniel Jones $140 million. Justin Fields does not have Brian Daboll. They were up
Right. Yeah.
21-3 against the Denver Broncos mid third quarter, and they lose 28-31. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
How's that possible?
You can look at any number of things, but me personally, I think you gotta start looking at play calls. That's
We're
some
going to look at a lot of things. Let's go back to the Bucs game. Let's go back to the fact that they ran the same running back screen off the right guard 3 straight consecutive plays.
Yeah.
And Shaq Barrett takes the third one to the house. Let's look at that. Let's look at some things that like has Fields missed easy throws? Yes.
Yeah.
Has Fields progressed when it comes to making his reads as quickly as he needs to? No. My question to you is: does he earn the third contract, a second contract? No, he doesn't.
Right now,
No.
And that's the concern with buying now.
Especially when the Bears hold their pick and Carolina's pick, which are both 1 and 2 currently. Obviously, things can change, but no, he does not earn a second contract.
Yeah, I mean, you figure things may change, but you're probably looking at 2 top 5, at worst top 7 picks.
No, the Bears for sure are going to land the number 1 pick. One of those picks is the number 1 pick. So what do you do? If you can sell Fields, you do it. After that game, if he could play Denver for 17 weeks, he'd be the best fantasy QB to ever play football.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, you sell him. You sell Fields.
Just a quick note though. You brought him up, so I'll just touch on it while we're in this buy sell thing. DJ Moore in the next 5 weeks is facing one of the easiest schedules you can face as a receiver. I'm just throwing that out there. Just a little tidbit for you. I was looking at it earlier today. I was like, wow. It's a pretty good stretch for Fields and Moore going forward for the next 5 weeks. So maybe can they find that rhythm and kind of ride it to the end of the season? We'll see. I'm not going to stamp it as a guarantee, but I mean, the schedule looks pretty.
Run the schedule by me. Let's hear the schedule.
Shit, I had it off the top of my head literally 20 minutes ago. Let me pull it up.
You're shoot, buddy.
I'm slipping. I'm sorry. I fucking lost it, man. So it's got Washington,
Okay,
Minnesota, Las Vegas,
yeah,
and the Chargers.
Washington, Minnesota, Las Vegas, and the Chargers. Next 4 games.
And then you got on the back end of that New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I mean, good stretch. That's a pretty good stretch.
You're playing You're playing 2 of the bottom 5 pass defenses in Minnesota and the Chargers, and then I'm sure a bottom 8 in Vegas. They're fucking terrible too.
Yeah.
Washington.
I mean, they just got killed by the. I'm giving it is AJ Brown, but they got killed, man.
I mean, you got to remember, DJ Moore is already wide receiver 14. He's already wide receiver 14.
Right.
If he pushes into the top 10, if he sits at like 10 or 11, I mean, are you surprised? We've seen DJ Moore consistently produce as a wide receiver too, with bad QB play. I know Fields hasn't been necessarily great, but the only 2 people earning targets are DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I wrote you in the article the other day. I didn't know that. I didn't know how much. Like I guess I never focused on the number, but Cole Kmet is on pace for the most targets he's ever seen in his career at 102.
Yeah.
Why is Cole Kmet not being talked about? Dude's balling.
He's always kind of been that guy that's kind of floating on the radar forever.
No, I'm just saying. I think if we talk about DJ Moore, we talk about Cole Kmet too. But yeah, buy DJ Moore.
Yeah,
buy DJ Moore. Sure. And even if Caleb Williams does come, sure,
even better.
Sure. DJ Moore's smooth, man. DJ Moore is a shifty, nice route runner. He's always open. He's always available. Yeah, buy DJ Moore. I mean, there comes a point where like the window isn't worth the price. So like, what's your price? That's the question.
I mean, I just think like just buy him in general is all I'm saying. I'm a big DJ Moore guy, and when you've seen him succeed with way worse quarterbacks than Justin Fields, I think he's a guy that's pretty solid regardless of who the quarterback is. I love the talent. And even with the small little tiny chance they have of getting Caleb Williams, if you can get that with DJ Moore, I mean, just do it, man.
I mean, all right. I'm just going to throw a name. Brock Bowers or DJ Moore.
I mean, as of today, I'm going to say DJ Moore. I haven't seen Brock Bowers play in the league. Rookie tight ends have a tendency to take a while to develop. I mean, we see Sam Laporta what he's doing this year, but that's not normal. You know what I mean? Most of the younger rookies tight ends take a while. I'll take DJ Moore over Brock Bowers as of today. Now, you talk to me week 3 next year, it might be a different story.
Egbuka.
It's so tough with the rookies. Can we get out of rookies? But I mean, I don't know. Landing spot's so weird. Like, what if Egbuka ends up with the Panthers or something? I mean, it's one of these situations where it's like
right. But like
context matters. But I mean, I'm still taking DJ Moore over Egbuka today in Dynasty. Yeah.
When you're trading for like a guy like DJ Moore, the first thing they're going to offer you is a first round pick, a mid to later first round pick. That's exactly what you're going to get offered. There's never a wide receiver for wide receiver swap. So like, would you take Jordan Addison or would you take DJ Moore?
Possible DJ Moore.
Would you take Njigba or would you take DJ Moore?
Now you're talking spicy things. I like this one though.
That's what I'm
That one
saying.
gets a little bit closer for me. I mean, right now DJ Moore is the guy in that offense, and until further notice, like you said, it's him and Komet. Komet's not even that great of a tight end to begin with. He's just a safety blanket for Justin Fields. They have no other receivers to throw to. Even with JSN on the other side, even with locked Texans, you still have DK Metcalf, who is going to be in that offense. They're not going to get rid of DK. That's not going to happen. He's their big guy in the red zone. Go up, throw the ball up to him. He's probably going to bring it down. That one gets a little bit closer. I might barely take DJ Moore in that end. I mean, where are you at with it though? Are you taking DJ Moore over JSN or any of those guys?
Nah, give me JSN. Give me
Really?
JSN. I think it's close, but give me JSN.
It's so close for me. It's like razor thin. I guess I give the slight edge to DJ Moore.
Should I trade Derrick Henry and Tua for Ramondre and Anthony Richardson? Are we talking Fletcher? Are we talking redraft strictly this year, or are we talking for Dynasty football? That's going to be my first question when we break this down.
I think if I hear Dynasty, I already know my answer.
Yeah, I know my answer too.
But
if it's redraft,
it's a whole
redraft. I'm keeping my left side. I'm keeping Henry and Tua.
So I mean, we can just answer that definitively without any context. Yeah. If it's Henry and Tua,
not Dynasty. Yep. So strictly redraft. Yeah. No, you keep Derrick Henry and Tua.
Keep Henry and Tua. Yeah. No question. I get the upside of AR, but Stevenson doesn't look the same. Patriots are struggling. Derrick Henry is an absolute workhorse, and Tua is on MVP pace right now. So
yeah, if you were to tell me that the same Ramondre that we saw average almost 17 fantasy points per game last year, top 8 running back finish. Granted, I did point out the schedule when we were doing the Ramondre profile in the offseason. His schedule is rough. It's brutal this year. But I did not expect 10 fantasy points per game. I did not expect him to be, ranked as running back 33 for the year. Unfortunately, what I saw from Derrick Henry last week against Cincinnati really solidified this answer for me pretty easily. I'm going to keep Henry and Tua.
Yeah, same.
Yep. And I know Anthony Richardson's playing lights out for sure. Lights out. I know. He's number 2 QB in the league in fantasy points per game for sure. I get it.
The gap isn't the same between Derrick Henry and Ramondre to offset the quarterback situation. I'd ride out with Tua and Henry.
Yeah. And I got Mike. Also, he wants to talk about a sell high. He even said, hey, let's talk about Kirk Cousins as a sell high. I can get behind it. I can truly.
Hey, I said that in a podcast, and y'all roasted me. So
I can get behind, bro. I didn't expect Kirk Cousins to be in this conversation at QB3 going into week 5. I mean, granted, I know Kirk Cousins is consistently top 10, top 12 QB in fantasy football. He's always reliable. But this man's on pace for over 700 passing attempts.
Yeah, it's wild.
He's literally on pace to break Tom Brady's 7-12 record. That's crazy. That's nuts.
And they have to continue to throw the ball, though, because, I mean, the run game's pretty...
Madison did have 95 yards on the ground the other day.
Yeah, it was. First good game all year. Maybe the best game we have all season.
It's the first game he didn't put the football on the carpet.
Yeah, so
let's talk about that. But that's the question. What are you going to get for a 35-year-old Kirk Cousins?
Right, that's and upon my little speech I did on selling him, this was before he was QB3. I mean, he's kind of a rough so high. Like you said, what do you get for him? Like, are you trading him for can you get a first for Kirk Cousins right now? Because, I mean, if you can, I say
I think so. I think if somebody offers you a back-end first-round pick, you take it. I mean, there's always contending teams looking to improve other places. To be honest with you, in that auction league, I traded for Kirk Cousins. I gave a 2024 first, which was back end, and I got a second-round pick in return, like another mid-second round pick. So I took that for Kirk Cousins. Yeah, the first for the second and Kirk. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's because I also had Kyler Murray on the IR. So
gotta wait it out, baby.
All All right, so my boy is 1-3. Ryan, 10-team PPR. Should I trade AJ Brown and Ramondre for Eckler and Brees Hall with Hall off snap count? My running back room is weak. Running backs are Jacobs, Ford, White. Wide receivers are T, Chase, Watson, Wilson, Godwin. Shoo.
That's a crazy trade. One.
I'm gonna AJ Brown and Ramondre.
I
You're
will.
trading Brown and Ramondre for Eckler and Brees.
So here's what I'll say, just to start things off. Running backs are rough, but moving AJ Brown also would make your wide receivers a little rough as well, leaving you with T and Chase in a struggling offense, Christian Watson, Garrett Wilson, who lost Aaron Rodgers, and then Chris Godwin, JSN. But I will say Eckler's upside is probably top 5 running back, and Hall off the snap count, swearing this week, he is an explosive runner. I could see the argument for this for either side.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you go look at Hall's numbers, Hall peripheral wise is playing better than he did his rookie year. My man's averaging over 6 yards per carry. And I mean, granted, I know he's only got 32 carries. Hall is just an explosion waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And this might be it. I told Ryan by week 7 that Brees Hall should be back to normal. Week 8, we're in week 5.
Yeah.
If you get Brees Hall from week 5 on, yeah, I'm trading AJ Brown and Ramondre.
Yeah, because I mean, it breaks down to me is like I kind of see Ramondre as worst player in the deal. AJ Brown might be the best, but I think Eckler and Hall together.
I don't even think AJ is the best player in the deal. I think it's Eckler. If Eckler's healthy, this conversation is not even happening.
True.
This conversation is not happening.
True. I mean, I think.
Remember.
Yeah.
Now remember, Eckler is on bye this week, and then he comes back to play Dallas. So please tamper your expectations with Eckler, who is coming off an ankle sprain. I do appreciate the Chargers allowing him to rest into the bye week.
Yeah.
His receiving profile, he can beat any team. So, like, obviously, Dallas is a terrible matchup for your running backs. But, you know, he gets 7-8 catches. He salvages his day anyway. So, yeah, give me Eckler, give me Brees Hall.
I'll take Eckler and Hall as well. I mean, it definitely leaves you in a rough spot receiver as well. But I think with Jacobs, Eckler, and Hall, I think you can kind of do something to turn that season around.
Yeah. If I'm playing redraft, I'm always looking to build around running backs. Although this year is not really the year for that anyway.
Right.
Any more sell highs that you want to specifically point out? Another one that I know we both agree on, Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of run the gauntlet on like these older receivers, like especially in Dynasty.
No. Mike Evans is special, bud. No, we're talking about Hall of Fame caliber Mike Evans here, bud. No, he deserves about a 30-second spiel.
30-second spiel. I mean, I wasn't gonna go on, but no, he's playing at an insane level. He's the most consistent receiver in football. You can pitch him as that. But I think if you sit on your roster and you're not contending, I think go trade him to a contender for quite literally either a young guy that you believe in or any pick that you can kind of get for him. I mean, any first round pick is ship him out the door for me.
I mean, guys, we're talking about a guy who's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 9, almost 18 fantasy points per game. Mike Evans is absolutely playing out of his mind. A lot of the community didn't think that Baker Mayfield could get it done. But by God, he's getting it done. He is slinging the rock.
I love Baker, man. I love seeing it. Fucking love Baker Mayfield.
Obviously, you have to take out the Marshawn Lattimore game. That's always a tough game.
Yeah.
But first 3 weeks, scored. And I mean, 28 targets in the first 3 weeks. Like, that's elite volume. Mm-hmm. And I mean, granted, my man had a 170-yard game. 170-yard game. That's Mike Evans. He's 30 years old. People said, nah, he's done. Brady's gone. He's done. No.
Who said that? Not us.
I'm just saying.
Not us.
I will tell you this. If you're gonna sell him, please know how your roster is constructed. if you are contending and you have a legit chance to win your fantasy championship,
Don't do it.
don't do it.
Yeah.
If you are in the middle of the pack and you don't think you can win it, pull the trigger. If you can get a first round pick for him, yeah, let him go.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to cut your assets. You know what I mean? This is what it is. The dynasty game is like stocks. You have to know how to play it. You have to know when to let go. That's how.
Yeah, it's
That's
funny. I was literally just thinking about it the other day. The dynasty market really is a lot like the trade, like the stock market out there. It's hilarious how similar it is.
yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, you can pitch the same idea like with Evans for like Keenan Allen. Obviously, Keenan
Right.
Allen's in the same boat. Top 10 start. I mean,
He's 32, so make it even better.
yeah. I mean, I don't know what you're doing with Devontae Adams. I know what I'm doing with Devontae Adams. Cooper Cup. I never ever thought that I would want to even
Yeah, Alex.
say anything about Cooper Cup, but I never want my wide receiver one visiting a hamstring specialist in Minnesota before the season starts. I don't know what to expect with Cooper Cup. Who would have thought Brady to Baker would be a QB upgrade from Mike Evans?
Yeah, right.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. Ryan and I were higher than consensus on Mike Evans, but we did trash Baker a little bit. I did. I can't stand Baker, but
Yeah.
hey, he's getting it done, baby.
I did give him a little bit of love in one of the podcasts early on, saying he looks a lot similar to the whole Geno Smith situation with Seattle last year, where he has these elite options. But
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I think the difference is like Brady kind of split between Godwin and Evan. I think we've kind of seen Baker look exclusively to Evans and not so much Chris Godwin.
Brady is
that to
also.
interchange more often, but
We all know older Brady. We all know that the deep ball wasn't really in his bag anymore. The check down, he lived for Rashad White his last year. He lived for Godwin 7 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, you can keep going down. You know what I mean? That's not Evans' game. It's not. Evans is an intermediate beast. That's what he is. Baker still got the arm. He's still looking to push the ball. I like it.
I love Baker. I'm so excited for him.
Ryan, is there any more sell highs you want to cover before we get out of here?
To touch. I mean, you mentioned one that scares me a little bit to bring it up on the podcast, so I'd prefer to skip him. We've touched.
Man, keep it spicy, baby.
Hey, you want to pitch Travis Kelce as a sell high? You be my guy.
Of course I do.
My thing with Kelce before you get into it is like, if you own Kelce in your league, you probably are contending. I mean, he's an absolute monster.
How can I? I don't know that. I don't know.
I mean, if you're sitting there not contending with Travis Kelce, one, you gotta.
So what if you're in a dynasty league what if you're in a dynasty league and you've had Eckler out for multiple weeks? You just lost Nick Chubb to the nastiest knee injury we've seen in a while. Jamar Chase, who isn't playing well currently, the Bengals aren't playing well. Joe Burrow's your QB1. What if that's your scenario?
Sorry, my boss texted me. You're gonna have to say that whole thing over again.
What if your scenario is you lost Eckler, Chubb you lost, Jamar Chase is on your roster, Joe Burrow's your QB1. Those rosters exist. Those stacked rosters that you thought were gonna push and make an easy championship, they exist, bro. We're living in a world where Kyron Williams is a running back 1. Devon Achane was a running back 3 last week, and he had 8 carries.
Yeah.
We're living in that world. Puka Nacua, a guy who was drafted 177th overall, is wide receiver 2.
Yep. Is he 2? I think Hill is still 2, but he's sitting around.
Maybe he's 1. But either way, 24 fantasy points per game. That's what Puka's averaging.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, those rosters exist. What are you doing with Travis Kelce? He's my biggest one.
That's not the greatest example, because I do think Chase and Burrow make a bounce back for the end of the season. But I'm sitting there.
What if you were dug in a deep hole? What if you were dug in that hole?
If you're really dug in deep and you're sitting there already by week 4 thinking I'm not doing anything, I guess sure, sell Travis Kelce. But I think more often than not, if you own Kelce, you're not really gonna want to move him. I mean, in Dynasty, it's a whole different world. He's definitely aging. He's older. He's probably in one of his last two great seasons. Signing him is nice. It's just you gotta be in a tough spot to. I mean, Kelsey in tight end premium, which is kind of like for the most part the standard nowadays. He's probably putting up in good games 20 points a game, man. So you can definitely to your point of selling him high, you can get good value for Kelsey from
Bro,
putting
there's
deep
still
contending
people.
roster.
There's still people that have Kelsey as tight end one,
I mean, I don't agree with that, but
and it should
to
be
each,
Mark
to each their
Andrews.
own.
It should be Mark Andrews.
How close is Laporta to being like a top 3 guy?
Bro, I've seen people have Laporta in their top 5 already.
Well, that's my thing. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
Have you even seen the take? People had taken Laporta over Hawkinson already.
No, that's a little too high. I like Laporta though. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be
I don't want
honest
to
with
get
you.
into him too much, but
I'll be honest
yeah,
with you. I think like Laporta, I had him at 6.
he's around that
To
area.
be honest, to be honest, 6.
We could be seeing a world where Laporta, if he keeps it up, he could be in the top 3 consensus by the middle of
Sure,
the offseason.
sure.
Yeah.
And for all you Kyle Pitts fans, not in my top 5, boys. Just so you know.
You know, to be honest, when we were doing, I mean, he's way out of buy low, sell high. He's not a conversation either of those things for me. But I think even going into the season, me and you were hesitant to put him in the top 5 in general. Like we didn't want him in the top 5, but we put him in there so he wouldn't get backlash from anybody that was reading the rankings.
I'll be honest with you. We put him there due to the sole fact just of what you've seen in college, his athletic profile.
Right.
Does he stand out as a top 5 dynasty tight end? Yes, he does. But as long as he's with Arthur Smith, he's not. I'm sorry, he's not. He's not in mine. He's
Just
not.
touch on Kyle Pitts. Jonas Smith's out targeting him.
Jonu Smith leads the Atlanta Falcons in receiving yards.
So do what you want with the information.
Yeah, do what you want. But other than that, man, if you have Travis Kelce, please try to go get Mark Andrews. That's a great addition for subtraction. It's a great option.
You can pull that off. Sure, sell Travis Kelce. Be my guest.
And Mark Andrews is my most drafted player and traded for player this whole offseason. Love it. Love it. I've never been on the elite tight end train, but here we are, baby. Here we are.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But on that note, Ryan, man, it's been a lot of fun. Dude, chat live. Great time in chat, man. It was a whole lot of fun. It's the reason we do this, baby.
Yeah, appreciate the questions live in. Thanks to everybody that joined in tonight. Super grateful for any support we can get. We're just two guys living in Delaware, trying to make a dream in fantasy. It's something we're very passionate about. We're blessed to have the platform that we have. And we're grinding day in, day out to get better and better at this for you guys, for the people, for ourselves. I'm just glad that we are where we're at, only given we're, 2 years into this.
Yeah, 2 and some change. Alex, obviously we all know Alex here. Your yards per follower, you know Alex. Guys, we just want to tell you thank you for the platform. Thank you for the opportunity. Again, we had such a great time on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, I mean, are we going to preview? We're going to run another start sit on Saturday night?
Try with me. I'm ready to roll it.
Week 5 start sit. I will say, I got to take one take here. I do. I did tell somebody to start Tank Dell over DJ Moore. I apologize. That did not play out too well. I do have to eat that one.
I'll tell you in pod, man. This is the week. This is the week that DJ Moore and Fields are gonna do it.
Yeah, but I can't be right 100% of the time. I will say though,
no, you're not wrong.
Our start sits, we did very well. Very well. Are there any ones that stand out to you as like, oh shit, I messed up?
I was thinking about it. I think I did pretty good. I was really. I told a lot of people to start Courtland Sutton. Had that touchdown not happened, I would have screwed so many people over. So I'm just glad he got that touchdown. Um, I'm trying to think if I had any other rough ones. I mean, obviously everybody I told to not start A Chain. I think A Chain was consistently the only one I was like, fuck.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, I mean, but I still stand by it. He only had 8 touches. He only had 8 carries. Now he did 101 yards and 2 touchdowns off of that. I can't predict that, but I mean, he was still limited in his role. It's just he did big things with it.
So was Mostert though. Mostert only had 7 carries.
Yeah, so I think the 8 chain takes, and I got salvaged by a Sutton touchdown. Otherwise,
So let me ask you this before we get out of here. A Shane, even though there's a split backfield, obviously Mostert isn't commanding the carries. He didn't last week. Is A Shane a must start?
crazy part is I still want to say no.
But the crazy thing is, man, if the backfield is going to be this murky when it comes to the touches, you know what I mean? Like, but until I, you know what I mean, this offense isn't producing at an elite level, I think you have to start as many people from this offense as possible.
Yeah, this is true.
So,
I mean, I guess he's a must start. I mean, everything depends on if you have a deep league. I think you're obviously starting A Chain, but if you have like a league where it's just one flex or maybe even 2 flexes, well, I think 2 flexes you should probably start an 8. But if it's a 1 flex league, I don't think A Chain's quite there as like a start every week guy. But I do think by the end of the season he will be a must start, but I don't think it's just yet.
Right. That's going to wrap it up for us tonight, bud. Saturday, we will see you guys here. Start sits. Can't wait. Ryan, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I already did my little spiel, but we kept talking. But yeah, no, I mean, glad to be around. We'll be back Saturday for you guys. We'll be running it back. Hope we get a good amount. We'll have a little tweet out for you guys to post your start sits. And if you can't get them in on Twitter, join the live stream. We'll be answering them live in the podcast. And yeah, great podcast tonight. Glad to have a good show out, and happy to be here.
Yeah. On that note, guys, we appreciate you being here, and we are out.